There were three warning signs that I ran into right in that period when I was having this feeling in my stomach that something wasn't right, that I needed to make a change in my life, that I had a different calling and all that. And the reason I want to talk to you about this because some people have also, who have this same kind of feeling that they need to do something different. There's warning signs that they have, but sometimes they don't see them. And so the first warning sign that I got back in that period was I was introduced to and got to know very, very well a famous television personality who showed me up close and personal some area that I was incredibly intrigued about, and that was show business. And because I've always had this little entertainer thing in me, you know what I mean? I like being on stage, I like entertaining, I like communicating, and so I was really, really intrigued about that. And so it happened like this. I was, in that last year that I was in the, well, it was a year and a half before that, before I actually left. Um, we did a big event for our most important customers, and it was a black tie event and everything. And I spoke at the event, and there was this famous television personality that we had invited to entertain the group and to animate the evening. And I gave a speech, and the next day he called me and he told me, he said, your speech was really, really good. He said, I'd like to, he said, it was so good that you inspired me. And I was thinking about opening up a store, with your company name on it in Rome. Would you like to come down and meet me? And I was like, sure. So I went down, and when went down and met with him, he had his kind of, some of his entourage there. His sister was there, and his agent was there, and we just kind of clicked. We just hit it off. And so he was like, wow, so why don't you come and hang out with us for a while? So he was on tour doing these events, and I got a chance to go through the whole season. There was like 10 events, and every each one of those events, I was backstage with him. We ate together, all together with his entourage, and everything. I actually spent a weekend at his house together with my son, because he had his daughter and everything were there, and so it really gave me the opportunity to see up close and personal, like I said, show business. And it was really, really intriguing to me. And when I saw that and I was living that moment with him, or, though that it was about a year, I guess, it was really, telling me is that, you really need to go and experiment this. You need to go try this stuff. You need to do something like this too. And, and that was one thing. That was one kind of warning sign that was kind of pushing me out the door of the company. And then something else that was really strange that happened is I met a real life princess. Yeah, it was wild. I was up at the European headquarters for a meeting, and which I had to do quite frequently. And got out of a meeting late one night. Because I was living in Italy at the time, and the meeting was at the European headquarters in Amsterdam, or near Amsterdam. And I remember we finished the meeting late, and I had to rush to the airport. I got to there. I was the last one to get on the plane, and so because actually they were waiting for me. And so when I got on the plane, I was sitting in the second row, and I remember I was looking for a place to put my luggage. I mean my computer in the luggage bin. And as I was putting it up there, I happened to glance down at the seat, and I saw the person who was sitting next to my empty seat, and it was this beautiful woman. She was incredibly beautiful. Now, I've been traveling for a long time, many, many years, and I can tell you this, that just doesn't happen very often. You're sitting next to somebody like that. Anyway, so when I sat down, we just had this great conversation. It was like we had known each other for years. It was really, really strange. And so, you have those conversations when you don't know somebody. So it's like, what do you do? So I was telling you what I did. I was working in this company and sales director and everything. And so I said, so what do you do? And she was like, well, I ride horses. I'm an equestrian rider. And I was like, oh. And so then, we got to talking about our families and stuff. We have brothers and sisters. I was like, yeah, I got two brothers and a sister. We live in that. And then she was like, and so I was like, what about you? What are your brothers and sisters? What do they do? And she said, well, my oldest brother, he runs the country. And I was like, oh. You know? I was like, wow, oh, that's interesting. So anyway, one thing led to another, and I discovered that she was a real princess. And I was like, wow, wow. You know what I mean? I was like, I never met a real princess before. Anyway, she was going to Italy to ride horses in this event for Pavarotti. Pavarotti, I don't know if you know who Pavarotti is. Pavarotti is one of the most famous opera singers, perhaps, in history. And he was Italian guy, obviously, and he, big guy too. Anyway, he passed away several years ago, but anyway, and I was like, wow, she must be important if she's going to his event. Anyway, so while she was going to be in Italy for like 6 weeks, and while she was in Italy, we just kept in touch like two teenagers. We were always messaging back and forth. I remember I was in Rome once during that period for work, and I had an afternoon free, so I was sitting on the Spanish Steps, and I was messaging her, and we were messaging for like an hour, just messaging back and forth, like two kids, and we just struck up this friendship. And I remember, and we even went out to dinner one night, and it was just a friendship, It was just like we were just like brother and sister and just real, really good friends. And I remember a certain point, and she told me, she said, Tony, I need to tell you something. She said, what you're doing right now professionally, I don't think that's your calling in life. And when she said that, it kind of like hit me. And because I knew she was right. And I said, yeah, why do you say that? She said, I can just tell, I can just see it. And so she gave me this book to read, and the book was called The Alchemist. I don't know if you've ever read that book, but it was a great book, and it was exactly what I needed in that moment. And it helped me to understand. That was another thing that was pushing me even closer to the door to leave the company. And then something really strange happened. Oh, then, to finish that last story, she then, after those 6 weeks, she just disappeared. She left Italy. We never talked again. We never had any contact again. And she disappeared from my life. But I was so thankful to have met her. I mean, really, it was just such a blessing. It just was like, wow, she was like my angel, who popped into my life. She gave me that information, and she helped me to understand that what I was doing wasn't my calling, and then she left. And then something really strange happened, and that was that I got promoted. So actually I said something that wasn't entirely true. I said I was the sales director. I was the assistant sales director. I was the footwear sales director. Then I got promoted to national sales director. So I was like, I had all this responsibility now, and it made me feel good. I felt like, you know what I mean? I felt like really, really good. I felt like I got more responsibility now. My career is still going strong, because I was like the 5th promotion I had like in 11 years, So I know I was really considered. I had more responsibility. I had more people to manage, and I was making more money, and I was feeling really, really good. And you know what happened during that time period for like 6 months? That feeling that I had was inside of me disappeared. It just disappeared. And then, after about 8 months, it came back. And then I was really frustrated because I was like, dang, I should be happy. I should be really, really happy at this opportunity that I have. The company loves me, and I'm just going, I'm doing it, I'm kicking it, But I wasn't happy. And then I was really, really down because I was like, I don't understand this. And so while the first two things that happened, meeting that television personality, his name was Fiorello, and meeting the princess were really kind of pushing me towards the door. The third sign was really something that I didn't really get right off the bat, but then I understood later. What I've come to realize is life will test you. And it will test you to see if what you're saying is really, really what you want. Because I was telling myself I need to move, I need to go move on, I need to do something else. And when I got that promotion, the promotion was telling me, you don't need to do that anymore. You're good. And I believed that for a while. And then that feeling came back again, which told me that wasn't true. And so the reason I wanted to tell you this is because sometimes what we need to do is listen And when I say listen, I mean listen to what's going on, to what's happening to us in our lives. Because sometimes there are warning signs. The princess and the television personality were telling me that, they were tickling me. They were grooming me for this move, And the other one then was, okay, now we got you groomed. Boom. Now I'm going to test you. See if you really want it, See if you really want it. I'm going to promote you. You know what I mean? It was kind of like, it was all planned out, right? And so I say this to say, listen to what's going on around you. If you are in a situation where you're not sure if that's your path or that's the way you should continue your life, listen to what's going on. And I keep talking about this other book that I read about, it's called The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. And, she says that the universe, when you really, really want something, the universe will conspire to help you. It will conspire to help you, And so I just wanted to kind of, share that with you because those were 3 things that were really, really important that happened. And when I look back, I was like, wow, I'm glad they happened. I'm glad all 3 of them happened because the television personality helped me to see up close and personal what it was going to be like, some part of what I wanted. And as a matter of fact, after that, I went to study acting. And the princess helped me to believe, she said, this ain't you, Tone. This ain't you. And then the promotion helped me to understand what I thought I wanted, but I didn't really want in the end. So I hope that was helpful for you. And, like I said, if you're struggling, you're trying to figure out what should I do, you're on the fence, you're not sure, come see me, click on the link here in the podcast or underneath this video. And, come see me. I got a free ebook that you can download. I'll take you through the steps that I went through to, when I made this transition in my life. And at any rate, stay tuned to me because I got a lot more things to say.